بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه الطيبين الطاهرين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا، سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. باب قبلة الصبيان. عن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت: جاء أعرابي إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال: أتقبلون صبيانكم؟ فما نقبلهم؟ فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: أو أملك لك أن نزع الله من قلبك الرحمة. The chapter is about kissing the children. From the book of Imam Bukhari rahimahullah, Adabul Mufrad. al-Mu'mineen Aisha Siddiqa radiyallahu anha says, a villager came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he asked, do you kiss your children? We don't kiss our children. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أَوَ أَمْلِكُ لَكَ أَن نَزْعَ اللَّهُ مِنْ قَلْبِكَ الرَّحْمَةَ. What can I do for you if Allah has taken the mercy out of your heart? Which means Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is connecting the physical action with the status of the heart. It is important to understand that what can I do for you if Allah has taken the mercy out of your heart is showing that physically showing the love is sign of having that rahmah and mercy inside the heart. In another narration, the second hadith that Imam Bukhari rahimahullah has mentioned here is Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu says, قبل رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم حسن بن علي وعنده الأقرع بن حابس التميمي جالس. Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم kissed his grandson Hassan ibn Ali radiyallahu anhu. Aqra' bin Habis radiyallahu anhu, who was a villager, a sahabi who came from a village, he was sitting there. فقال الأقرع: إن لي 10 من الولد ما قبلت منهم أحدا. I have 10 sons, I have never kissed any of them. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam فنظر إليه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam looked towards him and said, مَنْ لَا يَرْحَمْ لَا يُرْحَمْ. Whoever does not have mercy will not be shown mercy. Which means, if you don't have mercy on others, you may be deprived from having the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You want Allah's mercy? Show mercy to others. As there is a well-known hadith, إِرْحَمُوا مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ يَرْحَمْكُمْ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاءِ. Have mercy on those who are on this earth. Allah will have mercy on you. We see in this hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam kissing his grandchildren publicly in front of others. He does not consider that to be against his status, that people look up to me, that is such a great man, and he's a man of such a high status, such a pious and virtuous man. So now when you are in public, tell your children, grandchildren to stay away, not even get close to you. Don't come near me. And you mothers, make sure that your children never come to me. This is what normally we feel. That, no more smiling, laughing, playing with children. That should be secretly. Do it secretly, behind the walls. But in public, just show how tough you are, how strong you are, and you don't smile, you don't laugh. In fact, this is, unfortunately, is the general concept in the public about religious people. That religious people are those who don't smile, who don't laugh, who don't joke, who don't play. They're always very, very serious. And that is one of the reasons a lot of people are even afraid to be close to the religious people, close to ulama, close to imams, close to scholars, close to pious people, because that's the concept that we have. Whereas if you see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his behavior, it gives us a different picture. And Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in were very, very comfortable being around Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If Allah will give us tawfiq, we go further, we will see a lot of hadiths that talk about Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's gatherings and his behavior with the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, and how they used to sit in his gatherings and be joking and laughing, and he's sitting and smiling. He's joining them. He's not stopping them. He's not saying, no, this is disrespect. You guys are not supposed to laugh in my gatherings. So, here, one thing we see that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is doing it in front of others and not considering that to be something that is out of his position and his status. Number two, we see that showing physical attraction, love to others is part of our love that we carry in our heart. That we should always make sure that physically there has to be, say for example, someone is coming and you don't receive the person. The person says, "Assalamu alaikum." In your heart, you really feel very happy about seeing the person. But you're sitting so serious because you're in front of her. You don't want to show no smile. You don't want to show no reaction. I'm not a person that gets impressed by someone coming. No. I mean, you're happy, show the happiness. This is exactly what Prophet ﷺ is doing. He carries that love for his grandchildren and he's kissing him, he's playing with him. Nothing wrong in showing it. In fact, it should be there. In fact, we see in the hadith Rasulullah ﷺ said to a sahabi who told Rasulullah ﷺ about a person, "Ya Rasulullah, I love that person." He said, "Did you tell him that you love him?" He said, "No, Ya Rasulullah." Prophet ﷺ said, "Go inform him. Go and tell him that I love you." But this is only for men to men and women to women. Don't take it the opposite direction. Keep it to the right direction. So, Rasulullah ﷺ is really teaching us to show our love, our kindness, our feelings towards others. And then we can see that kissing someone is sign of a love. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is kissing the children. Then we see in the ahadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ummahatul Mu'mineen, tell us Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would kiss them. It's a sign of showing the love. It's not very serious. Even in the home, people are very serious. In addition to that, we see Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in kissing Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam on his forehead. Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam getting up and receiving someone. So all of these are different ways of showing your love towards someone, and it should be there. Don't be too dry with your attitude that no one can see it on you. And then if someone would come and say, I came and I met you and you never, I was so happy to see you. How would I know? I didn't get that feeling from you. The feeling that I got from you was totally the opposite. That, you didn't care if I came, I went, I'm there, I don't come. You don't care about it. So that shouldn't be there. It's being too dry. And it doesn't help with our connections with people. And this is what we are seeing from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Very, very important teachings. The next chapter is Babu Adabil Walidi wa Birrihi li Waladihi. The chapter is about father should teach his children good manners. Adabil Walid, which means Ta'deebil Walidi li Waladihi, that father should teach children good manners and should try their best to teach them the best behaviors. Wa birrihi li waladihi. See, we always use the word birrul walidain, kindness towards parents. But here Imam Bukhari rahimahullah is using the word for the children, that parents showing kindness towards children. This is also important, that show your kindness by showing them nice, good attitude, love, word of respect, appreciation. Your children should see this from you. And the hadith narrated, Al-Walid ibn Numayr ibn Aus narrates on the authority of his father, Numayr ibn Aus, who says, كانوا يقولون الصلاح من الله والأدب من الآباء. He said it was a very well-known statement in our time, which means this is during the time of Tabi'een. People used to say this all the time, which was a very well-known phrase that people used to repeat. As-salahu min Allah. Virtuousness is from Allah. For someone to become virtuous, to become salih, to become pious, to accept the right things is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Which means tawfiq is in the hands of Allah. Hidayah is in the hands of Allah. But wal-adabu min al-aba. But parents are supposed to teach the adab. In simple words, it's saying, don't say, if Allah wants, He's going to be good. No, you have to use the right means for it. Teach them the good manners. Then in future, for them to be good or not good, that's in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We leave the results in the hands of Allah. But we cannot neglect our responsibility, leaving it on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that if He wants, He's going to guide my children. You have to teach them the adab. A lot of time in our time, when people talk about their children and their behavior as they're growing up, they say, what we can do, if Allah wants, He can guide them. But you didn't teach them the adab. You didn't fulfill your responsibility. How do you want Allah to guide them? Allah is going to question you about, did you do what you were supposed to do? This is just like a person is not providing no food for the children. And when he's called to the court that you neglected your children and you didn't give them no food, he said, if Allah wanted, He could have fed them. Would that excuse be valid and acceptable in any court of the world? And if that is not acceptable, then same way to present this excuse that if Allah wants, He can guide them, He will make them pious. No, you have to do your responsibility. It will come after your adab, after you teach them the adab. So adab is from parents. When you see a child who's misbehaving, who the blame would go to? Al-adabu min al-aba. It goes back to the parents. They didn't teach them the right manners. In fact, sometimes parents, they teach their children the opposite. The child comes home, that boy cursed at me and he said this to me. Did he? Next time you curse back at him. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to curse his mother and his father. This is what the father is teaching his children. I'm going to go and curse at his father and mother. And he takes his child with him and he goes to fight with those people. What is the child going to learn from his father? He's learning the curses. And in some cultures now, curses are part of the culture. Part of the culture. Like every parents have to use only bad words for their children. Al-adabu min al-aba. Adab is from the parents. You don't teach your children adab, they are not going to learn adab. I see children sitting with their parents, with their feet facing their parents' face. Their feet are towards their parents' face. They haven't learned the adab. Children are sitting on the couches. Parents are sitting on the ground because children have taken the couches. Children have taken the better seats. Parents will sit somewhere else. Yes, if parents will tell the children to sit, come on son, come on, sit there, and they made them sit, it's different. But this is when children don't care about the existence of their parents or about the presence of their parents. So adab min al-aba, adab is from parents. It's responsibility of the parents to make sure that their children will learn the adab. After teaching them the adab, then inshallah they will become sulaha, they will become pious, they will become the righteous people, because you did what you were supposed to do for them. In case if they did not turn out to be what you wanted from them and you fulfilled your responsibility, then of course it's in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you are not to be blamed for it. The hadith Imam Bukhari rahimahullah narrated here is on the authority of Sayyidina al-Nu'man ibn Bashir radiyallahu anhu. It's an amazing hadith as compared to the chapter that he is presenting here. The chapter is about parents should teach their children good manners and they should show kindness towards their children. And the hadith, Nu'man ibn Bashir radiyallahu anhu says that my father carried me and took me to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That means he was very young and maybe a long distance, so therefore his father carried him and took him to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he said, Ya Rasulullah, inni ushhiduka anni qad nahaltu an-Nu'man kada wa kada. Bashir radiyallahu anhu says to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, I would like you to witness that I'm giving my son Nu'man such and such thing, giving him such a gift. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked him, Akulla waladika nahalta? Did you give this similar gift to all of your children? He said, La. No, Ya Rasulullah. Qala fa ashhid ghayri. He said, go and have someone else to witness. I'm not going to witness for it. Then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked him, Alaysa yasurruka an yakunu fil birri sawa? Don't you want all of them to show equal kindness towards you? Don't you want all of them to be equally obedient to you? He said, yes, Ya Rasulullah, why not? He said, Fala idhan. He said, don't even do it then. I'm not telling you to go and have someone else to witness. I'm stopping you. I'm telling you, don't do this. Don't give one and you're not giving it to the others. Show justice to your children. Which simply means Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is telling us that when you don't show justice between your children, then some of them are going to be disobedient to you and it's your fault. It's not their fault. Part of teaching them adab is that we also treat them justly, equally. In another narration which is in Sahih al-Bukhari, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to him, La tushhidni ala jur. Don't make me witness on oppression. You are oppressing your other children and you want me to witness for it? This is zulm with the other children. And in Bukhari there is a narration, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked him, A'tayta sa'ira waladika mithla hada? Did you give all of your children the same way? He said, no, Ya Rasulullah. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَعْدِلُوا بَيْنَ أَبْنَائِكُمْ أَوْلَادِكُمْ. Fear Allah and show justice between your children. So here we see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is telling us that when you are not treating your children equally, giving some of them more than you give others, giving them some things that you don't give others, this is zulm on the other children. And then if you are expecting all of them to treat you equally, to be kind to you. They are not going to be. And you are doing zulm, and that's a result of your zulm. In fact, one of the main reasons scholars that have mentioned about children being disobedient to parents and not fulfilling their responsibility towards their parents is parents being unjust to their children. So much so that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked us to show justice even in showing the love to our children. It's not that, okay, you always show love towards one and the other ones you never show them any love. They don't think that you love them anymore. And you just love one out of your children. Imam Bayhaqi rahimahullah narrated on the authority of Sayyidina Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu أن رجلا كان جالسا مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. A person was sitting with Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم فجاء بني له فأخذه فقبله وأجلسه في حجره. His son came, he grabbed his son, he kissed him and made his son sit in his lap. ثم جاءت بنية له. Then his daughter came. فأخذها وأجلسها إلى جنبه. He grabbed her and he made her sit next to him. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, فَمَا عَدَلْتَ بَيْنَهُمَا. You did not show justice to them. You kissed one, you didn't kiss the other one. They both came to you playing. They're young children. They both came to you. You kissed one, you didn't kiss the other one. And you made one sit in your lap and the other one on the ground. In another narration, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to him, why didn't you make her sit on the other side of your lap? To show your justice. So remember, in physically, okay, in your heart, you may love one more than others. And we always may have a reason, because he's always obedient to me, he does this and he does this, and whatever he does. But physically behaving with them, showing them our attitude, it should be always equality between our children. We should not show any attitude of disliking or discriminating between the children. They all should see the love for us. The next chapter is Babu Birril Abi li Waladi. Again, it's about similar topic, that father showing kindness towards the children. It's something really, it's a topic that is generally is unheard about. We don't talk about this anymore. We just talk about rights of parents, rights of parents. And every time parents want the imam to talk about rights of parents, we really need to talk about rights of children too. Not too long ago, I was in the States and we had a program. Maybe some of you heard about it. And it was a program about family life, in which I mentioned some of these similar type of ahadith. And especially I call it the hadith of Fatima radiallahu anha, that every time she would go to visit her father, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to kiss her forehead and make her sit next to him. So in the evening, a brother came to me, very nice brother, mashallah. He said, brother, you really put me in trouble. I said, what happened? He said, when we went home, as soon as we got into the car, my daughter said to me, Dad, you never kissed me. So I said, I kissed her right away. And she said to me, Dad, now, every time when you see me, you're supposed to show your love. The girl demanded from her dad. And she was right. She had the right to do so. And alhamdulillah, the father is receptive to it. And he accepted to do it and he realized I was missing something. So, this is something that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is teaching us. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhu says, in Qur'an, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the people of Jannah and for the people of Iman, He uses the word abrar. He used the word abrar. So here we are talking about birrul walidain, kindness towards parents. Same thing, bir bil abna, kindness towards children. He says the people of Iman and the people of Jannah are called abrar, which is the plural of bir, because لأنهم بر الآباء والأبناء, because they showed kindness to parents and children both. So they were abrar. Abrar are not only those who show kindness to parents and nothing to children. They are called abrar لأنهم بر الآباء والأبناء. They showed kindness towards parents and towards their children, towards both. Then he said, كما أن لوالدك عليك حقا كذلك لولدك عليك حق. Just like your parents have rights on you, your children have rights on you too. In many cultures, these rights are being totally neglected. It just goes one-sided. Just as if parents have no responsibility towards their children, yes, the only responsibility that we talk about in our time. Provide them with accommodation, a house so that they can live, a shelter, we can say, give them a shelter, give them food, and the needs and the necessities of life. And then as we go into the education, just teach them how to earn the livelihood. When it comes to teaching them adab, manners, how to live as a human being, that thing is totally gone. In fact, we find excuses for our children. Yeah, he's always been like this. He's very tempered. You taught them the misbehavior, and now you're even presenting that as a good reason that, he's like this, or he's a very tough boy. What does it mean, he's tough? Teach them how to be polite. Teach them how to be respectful. This is our responsibility. A man came to Umar radiallahu anhu to complain about the disobedience of his son. And his son was with him. He said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, my son is very disobedient. He doesn't listen to me. I want you to fix him for me. Umar radiallahu anhu, of course, how could he accept that, He says to the son, he said, son, you disobey your father? Don't you know the importance of obeying your father? So the son says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, أَلَيْسَ لِلْوَلَدِ حُقُوقٌ عَلَىٰ أَبِيهِ? Don't children have any rights on their parents? Umar radiallahu anhu said, sure, yes, sure, there are rights. قال فما هي يا أمير المؤمنين? أمير المؤمنين, could you please tell me some of them? What are the rights of children over parents? He says, أن ينتقي أمه ويحسن اسمه ويعلمه الكتاب أي القرآن. That give him a good name, choose good mother for him, and teach him the book of Allah. Look at these things. And I always say to our youngsters, when you're getting married, you're not looking for a wife for yourself, you're looking for the mother of your children. ينتقي أمه. Choose the right mother for your children. The one who would raise your children according to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh, isn't this halal also, and that is halal also, and inshallah she said she will accept Islam, and inshallah she said she will change after marriage. If this is the type of mother you want, what are your children going to learn from that? أن ينتقي أمة. To choose the right mother for your children. This is the first right of our children on us. Number two, وَيُحْسِنَ إِسْمًا. Give him a good name. Don't just give him any name. Nowadays people, to give them the name, they open the Qur'an. They want to give them name from Qur'an, okay? So they open the Qur'an. And the first word that will be on top of the page, that will be the name I will choose. Where did you get this from? Say if the first word on the top of the page was shaitan. Are we going to name our children shaitan? I don't want to mention no examples because people, maybe I have a lot of listeners online at least, they will be offended by those names. Amazing name. Sometime when I hear these names, I say, wait, where did you get it from? It's from Qur'an. And then it's a broken word from the ayah of Qur'an. They break some word from the ayah of Qur'an and they use it as a name that has either no meaning or doesn't have a good meaning. They feel that they got a name from Qur'an. That's not the way of naming our children. Inshallah, when that topic comes, we will talk about how to name our children. So this person, when he asked Rasul Umar radiallahu anhu, said, يحسن اسمه ويعلمه الكتاب, and to teach him the Qur'an. Take our Muslim children and tell them just to recite kalima properly. Tell them to recite Surah Fatiha properly. Tell them, can you read Qur'an? I'm going to open a page of Qur'an. Can you read it for me? Then, if our children will complain about us on the day of Qiyamah, who's responsible? This boy says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, innahu lam yaf'al shay'an min dhalik. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, please, I would like you to listen to me. My dad didn't do none of these things for me. Teaching them Qur'an. Unfortunately, may Allah protect us from thinking that way, and may Allah forgive me for using the word that I see it. I see it in the society. This is why I'm going to mention it so we can refrain from it. It could be a word of kufr. That for many parents, having their children to learn Qur'an, memorize Qur'an is wastage of time. How long would it take for him to become hafiz? 2 years, 3 years. Oh, is he going to miss all of his education for the 3 years? So Quran is not an education. He's going to miss his education for 3 years. He's going to get behind the others, his cousins, his brothers. He's going to get behind them because he learned Quran and others learned something else, and the one who learns Quran is behind. And we see the mentality there. According to Allah, according to the deen of Allah, according to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's ahead of everyone. But according to these parents, he's behind everyone there. Because he learned Quran. And he missed his education. Amazing words that we are hearing. But it's very common and normal. And now these words of kufr, wal-iyaz billah, became a norm. People just say it, not even realizing that they may be uttering words of kufr there. That is, this is the value of Quran in our eyes, that a person who will learn Quran, he's wasting his time. He's losing 2 or 3 years of his life. He's going to be behind everyone else. What do you mean? Prophet ﷺ, when he was burying the people of the shuhada of Uhud, these are shuhada. And yet, when he's putting 10 people in a grave, he would ask, Ayyuhum aktharu akhdhan lil Qur'an. Who has memorized the most Qur'an? Put him all the way in the front towards the Qibla. This is how they're going to be presented to Allah, that the one with more Qur'an is going to be representing them. He's going to be in front of them. He's going to be like Imam to the rest of the 9 people there. And we say he's behind. Maybe if we are burying some people, we'll say, let's look at their degrees. And where did they get their education from? And based on that, we will put those people in the front in their qabr for the malaika to come and question them. He says, my dad didn't do none of these things. Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar radiallahu anhu, iltafata ila al-rajul, he looks towards the man angry. And he said, أَجِئْتَ تَشْكُو إِلَيَّ عُقُوقَ إِبْنِكَ? Did you come to complain about your child being disobedient? وَقَدْ عَقَقْتَهُ قَبْلَ أَنْ يَعُقَّكَ وَأَسَأْتَ إِلَيْهِ قَبْلَ أَنْ يُسِيءَ إِلَيْكَ. Whereas you mistreated him before he started mistreating you. You wronged him before he started wronging you. You did wrong to him first. Now don't come to me. Don't blame him for it. If you didn't fulfill your responsibility, then why are you expecting expecting him to fulfill his responsibility? This is not to give our children and our generations any excuses, but this is to remind ourselves, the parents, that we have to make sure that we fulfill our responsibilities towards our children also. And our children have these responsibilities on us. We need to make sure that we give them the proper education of adab, of ta'aleem, of akhlaq. And akhlaq and adab would only come from Anbiya alayhim as-salatu was-salam. So teach them the teachings of Anbiya alayhim as-salatu was-salam, the akhlaq of Anbiya alayhim as-salatu was-salam. And really, as I mentioned before also, this book of Imam Bukhari is the best book about this topic. In fact, it's the first book that was written on the topic of building the right personality. And it's only through this that people will learn, through this education, people will have the right personality and right akhlaq and right understanding on how to deal with situations. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide all of us to Sirat al-Mustaqim and guide our children also to Sirat al-Mustaqim. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khayri khalqih, Sayyidina wa Habibina wa Nabiyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير